at last fall back and reveal the flood's final incarnation. The rank, viscous
That's my
mud they
father.
called
This footage
gumbo.
came from a film he did about the 1993 flood of Mississippi, which was one of his first jobs as an associate producer. My father, Lloyd Fales, is a filmmaker and television producer. For nearly 30 years, he has made documentaries on politics, science, crime, and other genres. When we were younger, my siblings and I used to act in his true crime shows.
Recipients of somebody's product.
These were shows that he would never let us watch.
Sometimes two lives cross paths and a killer and victim collide head-on in a fatal encounter.
So, Dad, why do you put us in your true crime films?
I thought it would be fun for you guys to get experience acting in front of the camera, and you were also cheap.
I also played a young kid from the 1800s in a show called Mysteries at the Museum. I was using a pie pan to reenact how kids used the first frisbees. I wasn't really interested in what he did until I started to get into film myself. Some of my favorite films he made were his earliest documentaries, including 3 from National Geographic. In a film called Street Dogs, my father followed a pack of stray dogs through a neighborhood in Queens, New York.
Thousands of strays roam the asphalt jungle. No leashes, no masters, no rules.
It's still a domestic dog, but it's behaving like a wolf.
And these guys have to handle the problem. They're the animal cops, the officers of the CACC.
My partner and I, we located this pack of stray dogs. They would go through a fence every night into this abandoned lot.
Today, the pack moves into new digs. Their own private park. Invisible from the street, it looks like the...
Until the dog catchers got onto them one day.
With a tragic overpopulation of strays, hard choices must be made. In the United States, around 2 million dogs are put down each year. 48 hours have come and gone. But this time, luck is on his side. Working with the shelter and dog lovers, she's found Truman a new master, a new home.
Going home, handsome.
In another film called The Crows, he documented the invasion of crows into towns and cities across the United States.
Late in the day, more and more towns across the country are facing an airborne invasion. For the last few years, as many as 50,000 crows have made Auburn their winter home.
And they would have these raids, and they would try to move these crow roosts. People get rattled by it, in large part because the crows are pooping everywhere.
Well, I'd rather have them hit the umbrella than hit me. I can always throw away the umbrella or wash it, but I don't want it to get on me.
We found a guy in Arkansas that his thing was hunting crows. And in fact, there were contests. He hated crows. And he told us.
I hate them in a loving way. How about that? Good morning.
Today, over 100 hunters are participating in a tournament. And there's just one objective.
Kill all the crows you can kill. Let's see.
To Marty Powers, the only good crow is a dead crow.
In another Nat Geo film, he traveled around the world, exploring the evolution of primitive dogs. He looked for their connection to the very first dogs on the planet. One of those breeds was the New Guinea singing dog.
Papua New Guinea was a real adventure. We met a scientist. There was a village that the scientists knew about. And our mission was to see if we could find this elusive dog. This dog that doesn't bark, but it sings.
It's very musical. I think they're pretty well named as singing dogs.
We hired these people from this village. They didn't have any shoes. Their feet they would scramble straight up these rock mountains. They were in incredible shape, hauled up all of our stuff.
My father had found domesticated singing dogs in Oregon, but his goal was to find a truly wild one in the mountains of Papua New Guinea.
We blasted the sound of the singing dog that we had got back in Oregon.
The answer is faint, far up the ridge, but these guys recognize it as the sound of wild dogs.
In 2007, my father traveled to Antarctica.
Through the National Science Foundation, I got a small grant to go to Antarctica to join penguin scientists and to document their work.
I really want a submarine. That'd be cool. We could chase them underwater. But I think the satellite transmitters probably cost a little less than the submarine.
We will spend the rest of the year analyzing our data, looking for clues to how penguins are responding to a quickly changing environment.
There he goes.
It's wild because penguins are not afraid of you. So you could get right in the middle of them. They would get pissed off and come up and attack you with their flippers.
Sometimes they attack us.
And they'd bark at you. It was cold and the equipment started to break down toward the end. That film won some awards and that was cool.
Since my father has been working in the business for nearly 30 years, I'm going to take the chance to share what advice he has for aspiring filmmakers.
Advice for people that want to get into film and television and movie making: start making films and figure out if you really want to do this as a career path, because it'll be a tough one. There are easier ways to make a living, and I think it's something you really need to know that you want to do. I wouldn't do it on a whim, but start making films, looking at films, taking film class in high school. That's all amazing experience.
My key takeaway from this is that my father has really inspired me to make films, and learning about his career and making this documentary has made film something I want to do when I'm older.